Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you today. And before we get into the pet changes, I did want to say, as an update to my a couple videos ago where I talked about those Supercharger changes that are on test, the Supercharger changes are being pushed back, TBD. Originally, all the Supercharger changes were Batuba. When he left, it kind of left that kind of void where the devs were playing catch-up. And now it's not ready to be released yet, that's for sure. I mean, you guys saw the changes. There's definitely some things that need to be changed. Not only some of the supercharged abilities, but the cooldown, stuff like that. So the supercharges testing should remain on test server for a while. Like, I'm still going to bring you all the changes to see, at least you guys can see what these ones were. But it's probably going to go away on test and come back on test. It's going to be a while before they actually come out, so they have more time to listen to feedback and get the changes that we deserve. So don't take everything you see with a grain of salt on the forums, what people talk about in videos, because it could be completely different from when it actually releases. So some of those changes to, like, buffing Bunk and Buster, or changing the event to 30 seconds, or nerfing like Entomb and Fireball Barrage and all these other ones, that could completely change from when it actually is released. So before we jump into the spreadsheet, just see the actual results, I did want to say that the pets have changed. Well, sorry, not pets. So the bats have changed where the beam is not invisible. So you'll see what I mean here. So before, the bats, their laser beam was invisible. You didn't see that, and now you do. So Dark Construct Bat, the Vampire Bat, Shadow Bat, now you see this green beam, similar to like the Seahorse concept, Father Box, Mother Box. Basically, every single combat pet will have like a projectile and a beam base. So now that you can actually see the bats, just for like aesthetic's sake, and just for you guys to know where the damage is actually hitting it being single target. So that's something you can look forward to, those three bats. So let's jump into the results. Okay, so I know I briefly touched on this in the previous video in terms of the pet damage. I also tested single targets as well, which I'll show you in a moment. But just want to set this up. So 5 parsers, 60 seconds through 330 CR. I did test ones that aren't changing, like the Boo Utility Belt, Summer Vent Trinket, Robust Sidekick, Grim. That's not changing at all. But I did it more so just to give you a baseline so you can see, well, oh, that's what Psychic does, stuff like that. So it gives you a better idea in terms of damage ranges. So these changes are 100% going to release with Survival Mode. This is pre-tier system, so if you haven't been following, Sharon wanted to create a tier system with the pets. So basically, like a free pet that's given out, or pet you buy from the vendor, like the the Brainiac pet, or a Vampire Bat, because that's going to be added to the Halloween seasonal for in October. So any pet that you can buy off a vendor that anyone has access to will deal like base damage. And then the next tier from that will be like the Dark Contract Bat that drops in a raid. Or sorry, not a raid, but an alert. Like a rare drop. That's going to be the second tier. Then the third tier is going to be pets that are earned by either like survival mode, or like elite raids, or like collections, whatever. Like if you earn your pet instead of just getting it as a drop, if you have to do something, you have to complete a feat, whatever. That one hasn't really been set in stone. It's just that we have survival mode already. So any types of those pets will be in tier 3. And the differences will be like probably 15-20% damage. So we're not taking like giant increases, but this is basically laying the foundation for that tier system. Despite the people on the forums complaining about it, it will 100% come. That's basically a given. Sharon will make it happen. So these are the changes we can expect right now. So we've got the Crystal Turrets, got about 10% increase. The Snake Turret and Shadow, a 10% increase. That's still not bad. So basically in 10 seconds, you're getting almost 500k damage, 454k, and this is on 3 targets. So that's nothing. And they also increase the range on it. So the bigger drawback with these ones, like the Snake Turrets, was that they're massive AoE, but they also take a little bit of time to summon, and the range is small. Well, now they increase the range and sped up the reaction time. So basically, as soon as you summon it, it'll start firing those AoE projectiles. Now, in terms of why you see such large increases on some of the other pets, is that Sharon had to bring up all the pet damage to match everyone else. So that's why, like Mother Box, which wasn't really good on AoE, Seahorse will be in here, 31% increase, Brainiac pet, like all these pets that weren't really good are now brought up to match everything else. So that's why you see these larger increases, and that's why Dark Contract Bat, which is already one of the best pets, saw a tiny increase. So in terms of AoE, all the pets saw an increase. So at minimum, you're pretty much getting a 10% increase. And the hit counts are all pretty much the same. That's the biggest thing that Sharon did, was that you saw a lot of fluctuations here. Like if I go like 50, 55, 56, 62, there's a really big gap in terms of those pets, the hit counts. It's the same thing, 80, 54, 47, 60. Giant swings in damage, which can change your parse a lot. You go from like 572k down to like, 475 or 455, then back out to 573. Just way too much of a difference. Where now they've been a lot more normalized. So like 70, 68, 69, 69, 69. So they're all very close in terms of hit count, which is what makes those damage pretty much the same. So between the Mother Box and Dark Contract Bad, it's like 2%. That's all it is. So when you're saying, oh, what's the best pet? Really, they're all the same. 563, 569. So 6,000 damage separating all the pets, which is like completely marginal in content. So jumping over to single target. Single target saw some little jumps in the stink turrets. The single target turrets. So the anti-mana and green crystal, 10% and 7%. So that's the single target ones. Same thing. In 10 seconds, you're getting 270k damage single target. And the stink turrets got a little bit of an increase as well because of their hit count. And then everything else, the main trinkets that were good on single target, like the Vampire Pet will be there too. I just don't have it on USB-C. It's on the EU server. But like Brainiac Pet, Mother Box, Seahorse, only the nerf. Technically, it was a nerf, but it was literally like 1%, 3%, and 2.5%. And then these ones saw slight decreases as well. Shadowbat, Father Box, and Dark Contract Bat, and Paradox Gazer. Well, Paradox Gazer was buffed anyway, so that was changing regardless. And then these ones are lowered as well compared to live server. So why do you see that change, and then why was AoE buffed? The thing is that we have we have a new DLC coming in April, so all these pet numbers are going to jump because of the CR increase. Like if max CR is like 340 or something like that, you get a 10 CR jump. It's going to adjust all these numbers, and then you have the tier system coming out. So you need a smaller baseline, or it's just good, or pets are just going to be like doing ridiculous damage. So in 60 seconds, it's already in 360k damage. After the DLC CR jump, it's probably going to be doing like 450. And then the base, and then when the tier system comes out, we're getting like pets that'll do single target damage like 500-600k in 60 seconds. That's a lot. That's pretty much turning all the damage swing to combat pets in this game, which is a little bit excessive. So they don't need to be doing that much damage. So that's essentially it. When the new survival modes, if there are new survival mode pets, they'll be added here to this as well. Which I'll do that obviously when survival mode comes out, so we can actually test those damage numbers. But that's essentially what you're looking at with the pet changes. So these are the ones you can expect. And once again, same thing. So 353 all the way to 361, barely any difference at all. So really, pets right now are more just cosmetic. So there is no like, oh, which pet should I run? Which one's the best? They're pretty much all the same. 356, 359, 3k difference really doesn't matter. So right now, as of when the changes hit live until the tier system comes out, you can pretty much run whatever pet you want. They're just basically cosmetics. They're all going to do pretty much the exact same damage and the exact same hit counts. So very little variation with them. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.